Teresa, you today. We wanted to talk to you about the Mindfulness Adventure Retreat. If you've always wanted to develop emotional mastery, explore your mobility, identify and solve any nagging physical limitations, transform through the playfulness of community, and embrace who you are capable of becoming, then this retreat is for you. We are here again to talk about the Mindfulness Adventure Retreat. That's going to be 16 to 19 September in beautiful Durango, Colorado, at the Colorado Trails Ranch. The retreat will be led by Doctor of Physical Therapy, Marine Corps veteran, and movement expert, Dr. Teresa Larson, my Men Talking Mindfulness podcast co-host, one of New York City's top yoga teachers and mindfulness guru, Will Schneider, and myself, Navy veteran, Men Talking Mindfulness co-host, and mindfulness and meditation teacher. And get this, the all-inclusive cost is $2,499. But if you book between this session and August 10th, you save $200. Or if your organization or group signs 4 or more folks up, it's $500 off per person. And we can talk about that later. But that all said, please post your comments, questions, anything that you guys are wondering about the retreat, please put that in the comments. That's what we're here for today. We're here to answer those comments live. We'll address those as able. And now I'm going to turn over to Dr. Teresa Larson to tell you more about the retreat and what you get when you sign up and what we will be doing during the retreat. UT.
Thanks, John. Okay. So this is very exciting. I live actually in Durango, Colorado now. So finding something in my backyard, our home state now of Colorado, was really special. Colorado is the adventure state, I have to admit. So what better place than to have a mindfulness adventure retreat? But it's been, a long time coming. So since John and Will and I have been working together, the practice of movement care, self-care, and mindfulness and meditation are all things that we all live and have benefited our lives. And to speak specifically for me, learning how to do my own mobility and stability exercises for my body specifically, as well as mindfulness in my life, how I eat. It affects how I eat, how I am with my children, how I'm with my husband, how I'm with my work. I wouldn't be where I am today without the mindfulness practice, as well as the practice of meditation, have given me so much freedom. And so I cannot not share it with everybody that's willing to listen. And so, that's really why we created this, because all of us have our own stories about these practices, but we knew that now, especially now, people need people in person. We've always needed people, but the in-person work, these immersion type experiences are actually really, really important for helping us develop these practices and make them come alive in our life versus like 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. So this retreat is packed full of a lot of good things. And I'll go into the details in a little bit. But first, I want you to kind of ask yourself these questions, which I'm consistently asking myself these too. Like, do you find yourself continually spiraling into negative thought patterns, right? Come to find out, a lot of our thoughts can be negative, but is it all the time? Do you feel like you're constantly seeing the glass half empty? Do you feel like you're stuck in the manipulative media algorithm? Can you not get off your phone or doom scroll? Or do you feel like you're constantly going down a rabbit hole, or that monkey mind? You go on YouTube to look up one thing, and then all of a sudden you're like looking at someone eat their breakfast in the morning. Like, what are you doing with your time? And then does it feel impossible for you to find peace amidst chaos? Life is chaos. It is. It's actually a beautiful chaos. Every morning can be different if you have children, or if you run a business, or wherever you are in the world. Like, every day can look different. It can feel a little chaotic. And how are you with that, handling all that? And then the last thing is, do you feel like you're experiencing chronic injuries all the time? Like the same injury, low back injury, is constantly popping up? Or do you feel like, oh man, I injured my knee like 5 years ago, and I never have been able to rehab it back, and I'm not able to do the things I love to do? Like, are your injuries, do you feel like, are those holding you back, whether they're physical or emotional? So those are things I want you to ask yourself. And actually, those are things that we are going to tackle with this retreat. And this retreat isn't just the 16th through the 19th of September. It actually spans the course of the month. So we do actually, following the retreat, there is weekly check-ins that we do to follow up and make sure that you're integrating these tools we've taught you into your weeks, right? Because the retreat is great, but if you don't apply what we've taught you or you learn, right, it just goes to waste. So we really want to make sure that this is a whole experience for you and that you do learn tools to handle those negative emotions, or know what to do when they pop up. Learn to see life through a beautiful lens, even though it can be real crappy at times. The ability to see life glass half full, and be present in any given moment is one of the most powerful skills you can give yourself. And no amount of money you make will change that, right? It's where being present with where you're at. And then, do you know what to do with these chronic injuries that keep popping up? Like, why does your low back keep hurting you? Or why does your foot or ankle? Like, we'll actually get into an evaluation and look at your personal mobility, what's going on, and give you a plan of care to follow when you leave this retreat and this experience. So that's really exciting. Those are actually some of the details. Yes, you're going to learn to meditate too. Whether you're already a skilled meditator or you're a beginner, this is a time to strengthen what you already have, right? And also like learn a new skill. Being open-minded to learn this new skill of what helps you be more present in your day is really, really powerful. You're going to learn, we're going to be outdoors a lot. This is Colorado. So we're going to be doing hikes. We're going to be doing some archery. We're going to be doing time. We're going to be spending time. We're going to be spending time outside together, like looking at the beauty around us together and connecting. We're going to be doing yoga because, well, Will is a badass in yoga and he really knows how to teach all different levels. But yoga isn't just stretching, guys. Like, yoga is so much more. It is literally one of the best movement practices of connecting the mind and body. And you're going to meditate with a Navy SEAL, right? Like, who does that? Who does that? And you're going to meditate with Will, and you're going to meditate with me. But I actually get to physically evaluate all of you that attend. And that's why we're keeping this retreat actually pretty intimate, because we get to do hands-on with all of you, and privately too, and also as a group. So this is and I'm licensed to do hands-on, by the way. I just want to put that out there. Like, this isn't weird hands-on. This is like therapeutic hands-on. Will's like, thank you for that.
Me too. Like, I adjust everybody in yoga class. Like, no worries.
Like,
Yeah. I'm certified to touch.
Want to make sure
appropriately.
I touch you appropriately.
Yeah.
And if you're not interested in that, that's fine. Did I miss anything about what is involved in the
I
retreat?
could pick up right where you're off, but John, you have something to say quick?
Yeah.
No, go for it, Will.
Yeah. Well, I see Carolyn's on here and she says, will this help with, does this work for severe anxiety? And the answer is absolutely yes. And that's what these practices are help us do, right? Is to find a greater sense of peace, to get to know ourselves on a deeper level, but also it's going to help with this anxiety is we're going to be out in nature. We're going to be disconnecting from our typical way of doing things, our technology, but also the community. And we're going to continually build a really strong community here throughout this weekend. And it's just like, it's not just, we have, yes, the dates that will be in Durango are the 16th and the 19th, but we have this integration an experience that is part of this package that goes for 4 more weeks afterwards, in which we're going to take a deeper dive into each one of the 3 aspects that we work with. So functional mobility with Dr. T. We're going to dig in a little bit more mindfulness with John. I'm going to help you with breath work and meditation. And yoga asana work that'll help you to release some of that chronic strain and stress that Dr. T is talking about. And we're going to continue to strengthen this community. So you're not just walking away from the weekend and being like, oh, wait, that was a good time. It's like kind of a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. But no, we're going to keep going for like 4 more weeks. I don't know if that's appropriate, but that's how we are here, right? So, we're going to have this 4 weeks in which we get to dive a little bit deeper. We get to know each other a little bit more. And in that knowing one another and hearing like the same the same problems that people are having, the same anxiety that people are having, and the commonality around it, it really kind of makes us feel better. And the hotels, we're actually going to be staying at the ranch. So we actually have these beautiful log cabins. We have this beautiful dining hall. We have this whole area that we're taking over, in which you can go horseback riding if you like. There's the river might be high enough to go fly fishing. Like we said, we're going to work on actually and use archery as a tool to understand mindfulness on a deeper way. We're going to go on a big, long hike. So we're all going to be together. Even at night, I'm really excited to do this, Dr. T and John. We got our little fireside reflection at the end of the night, where we get to talk about, what came up for us, what we learned. And it's amazing. Like I've done several retreats like this in the past. I've done psychedelic retreats like this in the past, and I've never had this integration program. And I know that this integration program will really bring this stuff home. So it kind of pushes you off into a new direction, and you can really develop new habits that are mindful and that can really help you deal with, emotional mastery, which is the first thing that we said around this, because that's what anxiety is. It's just you're overcome by your brain and the triggers and the habits that you continually bring forth because of that anxiety. And we're going to help to rewrite that story. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited to have these like 3 days, 4 days as a group, but also take it a step further and have these 4 weeks afterwards, in which we continually connect and grow our relationships to ourselves and to the group.
Yeah, I was going to mention there, Will, too.
Yeah.
So you mentioned something about stories. So there is something that happens with us. And as someone who's struggled with anxiety and also depression, right? Kind of anxiety comes from maybe worrying about the future, and depression is, the past. And we all have dealt with that at some point in our life. And for some of us, it might be more chronic. But there's sometimes with these emotional injuries and physical injuries, there's a story we tell ourselves about ourselves, like we're not capable, or we're not good enough, or because I'm injured, or because of this, I can't do X, Y, Z. And that, what we know about the mind is that the majority of what we tell ourselves is actually false. We aren't what we think, and so being able to, like, this has been very powerful for me, right? As someone who's had chronic anxiety and depression for a period of my life, is being able to literally tame that mind. Like, you think about what are you really good at? What do you love to train for? Is it a sport? You love to ski? Do you like to train for skiing? Do you train for your job? Do you, train to be a better parent? Whatever it is, like the same, it's the same mentality, training your mind to be present and to focus on what does matter. And it's not like a quick fix to healing anything, but it is a process that is the most life-giving and will reap huge dividends. I like to use that term because the more you do it, you practice this art of being present and calming the monkey mind through meditation and mindfulness. You start to have less anxiety. You start to worry less about the future and let the past be in the past. And then this point of stories, you let go, you learn to let go of this story you're telling yourself, which is negative and very life defeating, right? So it's, I think for me, this is a story I used to tell myself. I struggled with, I had an eating disorder, and I was like, well, I'm not good enough to do these. I'm a bulimic. I'm not good enough to do, this kind of job. And well, that's just not true. I'm not a bulimic. I am someone who suffered with bulimia and someone who suffered with anxiety, but I am not my disease. And also, I can do anything I set my mind on doing. And so literally you learn to shut down those negative self-talk that is so life defeating, right? Like if you need to talk to your boss about something, but you're like, yeah, I'm just not good enough. You are good enough. You are good enough. You are complete the way you are. And so learning to embrace that is one of the most life-giving things, because society as a whole won't necessarily give you that, right? Like and the more I learn about these kinds of developing these tools, I went to a mindfulness meditation coach for years to learn this. Doing an immersion like this is like a fast track to learning a lot of wonderful skills. So that's enough. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah, Dr. T, thanks for sharing all that. It's always great to know that the teachers have their own story, right? And why it is that we're doing what we're doing. So thank you for sharing that. And I want to address a couple of questions that are here in the comments section, also from Carolyn. Um, hey, as far as the ranch location, it's Colorado Trails Ranch. They're in Durango. It's actually just outside of Durango. And then does it work for veterans and non-veterans as well? Yes, absolutely. We're anticipating some veterans being at this retreat, but we do fully anticipate non-veterans being there as well. This is not going to be based solely on the veteran experience. It is going to be based on the human experience, and we want to help everyone through that, through these different practices: the mindfulness, the meditation, the movement, mobility, the yoga, and then just getting outdoors in a community of folks. That's the greatness here. There's some secret sauce. So for those of you who are just joining us, again, I'm John McCaskill. I'm here with my good friends and business partners, Will Schneider and Teresa Larson, and we are covering what it is we're going to be doing next month. The 16th through the 19th of September, we are doing the Mindfulness Adventure Retreat in beautiful Durango, Colorado. And again, if you missed it before, that will be at the Colorado Trails Ranch. That retreat is going to be led by Doctor of Physical Therapy, Marine Corps veteran, and movement expert, Dr. Teresa Larson, my Men Talking Mindfulness podcast co host and one of New York City's top yoga teachers and mindfulness guru, Will Schneider, and myself, Navy veteran and Men Talking Mindfulness co host and mindfulness and meditation teacher. And that all said, the cost of this retreat is $24.99, but if you book between this info session and August 10th, you save $200. And if your organization or group sends 4 or more folks, it's $500 off per person. So that's a heck of a steal. I mean, what Teresa and Will have already mentioned, we'd love to have you guys. And we're going to get into some of the frequently asked questions that are on our website. And that website to sign up is right there, mentalkingmindfulness.com/retreat. It's right there. If you missed that, scrolling at the bottom of the screen, but we'd love to have you sign up. Check it out at that website. And then the frequently asked questions. Will, did you want to touch any more on the value add before I get into the FAQs?
Well, one thing I will just answer a question, or not even a question, it's more of a statement, and I'll just elaborate on that. Elena says, we should take time for ourselves once a day at least, right? And then it's like, yes, take time for ourselves, but if you don't know any skills, like what do you do with your time? Like you just go back and binge watch? Do you go, like what if you begin to take on a meditation practice? What if you just take that time that you for yourself, whether it's just a few hours or whether it's a full day? What if you go for a hike? What if you stay in silence for a little bit of time? What if you begin to breathe a little bit? So this is the value. Some of the things we're going to teach you are skills that can help you counteract and get to know the habits that get in the way of you telling a different story of your potential and the things that you want to do and the things that you're passionate about, and also help you to become aware of the things that get in the way of that passion. And maybe you don't even know what your passion is right now. And this can, again, it's not just the weekend, right? But this is like a 5-week process that we're going to kind of move through with this. That's to help you develop these habits and get to know yourself on a deeper level through these practices. So that's kind of more of the value add there. And plus we get fresh air. I mean, I'm in New York City, so it's 90 degrees today and it's a concrete jungle. And I can't wait to be with look, those mountains right there that you see on the screen, they're in Durango and it's going to be in the fall. So it's going to be probably, I don't know what the temperature is out there in the fall, but it's going to be probably like 60 or something like that.
Yeah, there you go. That's actually one of the frequently asked questions. So let me run through those.
There you go. Go for that. Yeah, go for it. Absolutely.
So, so it's run by myself and Will, Men Talking Mindfulness, and then Teresa, Movement RX, and we've all partnered together. But one of the questions that we often get, because myself and Will co-host Men Talking Mindfulness, is this only for men? Absolutely not. It is not. It is for everyone, anyone over the age of 18. So that's the next question: is can I bring my kids? And we ask that all participants are 18 years of age and older. What should I bring? Well, we're going to be doing yoga. We're going to be doing some movement. We're going to be getting outdoors. So bring some stuff that's appropriate to hike, the right shoes, some stuff that you can stretch in. It is dry here, and we're going to be sitting at about 7,000 feet in elevation. So bring your water bottle and some sunscreen. Yes, it's going to be the fall, but again, still we can get burned out here. So you want to bring some sunscreen. You want to bring some lip balm. Lip balm. Hey, right, Teresa. I'm the Colorado mom
Lip
right now.
balm.
Lip
I don't
balm.
have any
water.
lip balm. Well, I just hydrate, guys. I don't know lip balm.
You
What are you
gotta bring
talking
lip
about?
balm, man.
Water,
You gotta bring
sunscreen, lip balm.
But the next question is, hey, what will the weather be like? So in the fall, it should be somewhere, upper 60s, lower 70s during the day, and then in the nights into the 50s and maybe even into the 40s. So bring a jacket, bring something warm for the evenings, because we will be doing those fireside chats like Will talked about. Granted, they will be around a fire, but still, you want to bring something that will keep you warm. As far as those who've never practiced yoga, meditation, or mindfulness, hey, we are not expecting experts at this retreat. We're expecting people who have had some experience. We're expecting people who have had zero experience. We're going to start at the ground zero and build you up from that. So, hey, everyone's welcome. What will the food be like? You may have some dietary restrictions. Before we arrive, once you sign up, we'll send out some questionnaires finding out what your food restrictions are and make sure that those restrictions are accommodated. We're going to be eating again at Colorado Trails Ranch, and they got delicious homemade meals, fresh and healthy, right there for you. So if you go on their website, that's one of the things people rave about is the food at Colorado Trails Ranch. What is there to do during free time? Colorado Trails Ranch offers a ton of different things. So there's archery that we'll be doing. There's horseback riding, swimming in the heated pool, volleyball, basketball, to name just a few. But I will say the all-inclusive side of things does not include all the ancillary activities. It will include, the housing, the food, and what it is we're going to be doing, but the ancillary stuff may come at an additional cost. Will there be Wi-Fi or cell service? You're in the middle of Durango. Actually, you're even further outside of Durango, and there's limited cell phone service. There is Wi-Fi, but here's the thing. We actually want you, while you're there, to be present and not be distracted by these things or your computers or your laptops or your tablets, whatever. Yes, we understand that there's still a need to access those, but we're ideally going to do as much of what we call a digital detox as possible. So that's addressing the Wi-Fi and cell service.
Well, let me also say about the digital detox, John. It's like our technology is a massive creator of our anxiety.
Absolutely.
Right. So we're going to be let going that. And this is another, you're going to come back and you're going to be like, wow, like it was so nice to be off my phone for a few days.
Right.
And then it's like, and then you can maybe make some different choices, moving forward. And also maybe through the integration practice or the program for 4 weeks, it's like begin to develop that new relationship with technology. So it's not, getting yanked down into all that anxiety by just moving through the habits of just being with your technology. So there you go. I just want to interject that, John, because I love the digital detox side of this, especially, we're in a very remote area and doesn't have the best service. So it kind of really works in our favor big time.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. The next frequently asked question is, what happens if I need to cancel or change plans? So work with us on that as we get closer. It's going to get more expensive to book your flights as we get closer. So book your flights now, but we do recommend getting that travel insurance if you can. So get that travel insurance to cover the cost of the flights if you do in fact need to cancel. As far as the program itself, if you're unable to make any travel arrangements or change those travel arrangements in advance, please let us know. If you cancel less than 30 days prior to the retreat, or more than, we will refund your payment if we can fill your spot. So that's how we're going to work that. So if you cancel more than 30 days prior, we'll refund you 100%. And if you cancel less than, and we're able to fill your spot, we'll refund you as well. So there you go. So some confidence in booking the retreat. More than 30 days, we're going to refund you. Less than 30 days, if we can fill your spot, we're going to refund you. So definitely want to take care of you guys. Any other questions? Please feel free to put them in the chat. We want to hear from you. We want to answer those questions because we want to see you. We want to make sure you're comfortable and booking, and we want to see you out here in Durango. Let's see.
I had a question that came in via email.
Yeah.
Is this a leadership type retreat? And my message back was yes, but we're not looking at team leadership here. We're looking at individual leadership. Like there is this whole concept that all three of us abide by called lead you first, right? In order for you to effectively love and take care of other people, show empathy, compassion, you have to live it yourself. And so some of the best leaders are actually some of the most compassionate, empathetic people I've met. And so that you're going to be developing skills and empathy and compassion here, which is what our world needs more of, very much so. And all of us could benefit from it. So if you have people in your organization who, could use some of that or need to build up, strengthen those skills of grit, resilience, compassion, empathy, then this is a good start, right? We got to start from within ourselves.
Yeah, there's actually a question here, Elena. I'm not sure what the question is, but this is the integration program will be virtual and online, but this is going to be a live in-person retreat in Durango, Colorado, where we're going to be working with meditation, where we're going to be doing mindfulness, and there's absolutely on John and I's platform, Men Talking Mindfulness. There's no shortage of meditation practices that you can look at right now, if that's what you're kind of referring to. But I was a little confused, Elena, by your question. But this is an in-person retreat with a 4-week virtual integration program afterwards. We're gonna, you'll have homework during the week, during this time on your time like after the retreat, in order for you to learn more about yourself, whether it's physically, mentally, or emotionally. And even at that last week, which I'm excited to get to, is what you're declaring, what you're going to bring forth, and what like from all this insight that you've gained from our time together.
Yeah, I want to also come back to Elena's question there. If you are looking for an online platform, yes, Will and I run the Men Talking Mindfulness podcast, and we do have meditations that are there within the podcast. But then the three of us here also within Movement RX, Teresa's company, we have the Movement RX M2 experience, and we're going to be getting more into that. It's been a 21-day experience in the past. We're going to be running that again after this in-person retreat, and it's actually going to be drawn out to a 90-day experience. More information on that to follow, but you can track it on Movement RX website. So that's movement-rx.com. Again, it's movement-rx.com, and we'd love to have you join us in that if you're not able to make the in-person retreat. So,
well, thanks, John. So I'll pose a question to the audience listening. So what if there was one thing that you like to see shift in your life, whether it's physically or emotionally, what would that mean for you? Like, what would that mean for you if that actually shifted? If you had less anxiety or none, if that chronic injury dissipated, right? Or if you felt like you could be more present with your kids, what would that mean to you?
I'll hit on that.
Yeah.
While we're waiting for the audience to type in their responses, if they're going to, that right there, that being more present with my kids, being more present with my spouse. It's very easy in this day and age, especially with technology, right? To go home and continue working. And in this day and age where so many people are working from home, the lines haven't just been blurred between work and home. They've been completely erased. You're literally working at home. And the desire to answer an email or to answer a text or be like, hey, just give me a minute, I'm going to do this. And then, 2 hours later, you find that you've been sitting there with your kids or with your spouse and you have not been present. That to me is the biggest change, right? You can be more present physically and mentally, because we've all talked about absenteeism at work. Well, absenteeism at work, hey, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not there physically. You can be present and be absent at work, but you can also be present and be absent at home. And And we want you to be more present at work. We want you to be more present at home and really have that work-life balance more clear for you, for your family, for you personally and professionally.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask a question and answer it. So why is it so important to be present? Well, if you're present, then you're in the moment, here and now, right? Not locked in the mind. I mean, we're not. I mean, I think until I started meditating, John, and I actually had a student yesterday that I worked with. I just started working with this new student about 6 weeks ago, and he's never done meditation before, never done any breathing before, never done really anything. You know, he goes to the gym, he's a cross trainer and stuff like that, which I think is all great. It's very good to have a healthy body, but what about a healthy mind? What about knowing your emotions? And that's where presence comes in. That's what mindfulness helps us to do in practice of meditation and breathing and knowing ourselves on a deeper physical level. We become more present. And what happens when we're present, we're in the here and now. And in the here and now, I can lift out of my habits. I can lift out of my patterns of thinking. And then I can start making choices that serve my passion, that serve other people, that continually lead me to a life that's more peaceful, and that peacefulness can bring more joy and more happiness. And that's like the essence of what we're really trying to get to here, is not just find presence as a group, find presence in nature, find presence within ourselves by practicing, meditation and breathing. We're even going to do a food meditation just to really be with your food. So lots of things we built into this. So you might be a little bit like, oh, I don't know if meditation is my thing. It seems all weird, or you're hurt. That's fine. No problem. There's going to be so much built into this retreat. And one simple practice can be an on-ramp to a whole lifetime of mindfulness. I'm very mindful of the motorcycle driving by right now. There we go. Once again. So, but that's what this weekend's about. And that's what the 4 weeks are about after of this weekend, is to help you get on the road of mindfulness and see how it can help you be more present, what that presence can do for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I saw another comment here coming in on our YouTube channel from Randy. He needs this kind of retreat, but is not able to make it these dates. Are there going to be future retreats? Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to run future retreats. Ideally, we're going to run some more there in Colorado, in Durango, but we're also going to be looking out at other locations. If you're not able to make it to Durango, maybe you can make it to one of our future locations, future retreats. So absolutely, we'll be doing this again, Randy. Thank you for that question. And Elena, thank you for checking out the podcast. If you have any questions, make sure you hit myself and Will up. We have it's just our website is mentalkingmindfulness.com, and both of our information is on there. So happy to answer any questions that you may have about the podcast. All right. How are we doing? T, Will?
Doing good.
I think we're pretty good. I would say if you want more information, the website is loaded with information, and it's like quick. It's like you can just read the whole site in like 2-3 minutes and get exactly what this retreat is all about. And I think that's a great place to start, and that's also a place to ask questions. We have a question box in there. If there's a question, someone reached out, I think it was a couple of days ago or Monday, is like, are there any books that I can read in order to prepare for this retreat? And I think almost any book that kind of draws your attention in this direction, as far as being presence or meditation or mindfulness or understanding your body in a deeper way, is a great place to start for you. I think Dr. T, The Buddha's Brain. No, that's a book. I think Dr. T, you mentioned one in the email the other.
Like a monk.
Think Like a Monk could be a great one. John, you have a book maybe that people want to check out?
Yeah,
Maybe get on this
anything
path
by John Kabat-Zinn. John Kabat-Zinn is the quote unquote father of mindfulness in the West. So wherever you go, there you are is a great way. Is a great one by him. Catastrophe Living is another one. Anything by Thich Nhat Hanh is a great foundation for mindfulness and meditation. And Mindfulness in Plain English, though I'm forgetting the author's name off the top of my head, but Mindfulness in Plain English is another great one for simplicity for beginners.
That sounds very good.
Yeah,
That's right up my alley right there.
Here, look at this little book. This is Thich Nhat Hanh, right? It says How to Sit.
There you go.
And it's like a tiny little book. This is like smaller than my hand, right? And it's just like all about meditation So there's no shortage of information out there and books you can read if you want to get started, or you could just come having never done this kind of work before. And I got to say, and I know personally, I love working with brand new students, because especially students that show up to something like this, because the willingness to learn, the willingness to change is so great, that you're willing to jump in and try and give it your all. And that's all I really ask for on this retreat, is to show up and do the best you can. And it's okay with where you are. One thing that I've learned very early on as a yoga teacher that has helped me is you meet your students where they're at. Not
Yeah.
trying to bring them into who you are, right? But meet them where you're at. And that's where we begin on this retreat as well.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good place to end. Like, that is exactly what, if you're leading a company, or you're just leading a family, or leading yourself, right? Like, meeting yourself where you're at is a very wonderful skill. It's sometimes we listen to how we speak to ourselves. Normally we wouldn't speak to ourselves. Normally we wouldn't speak to loved ones the way we speak to ourselves sometimes. And so meeting yourself where you're at and having compassion, the fact that you're you're growing. We're always growing. But you're going to develop some skills that are life-changing, but also have a lot of fun. Like, the three of us,
we're going to have a lot of
fun, healthy fun. And we would like to have fun with you.
There you go. Well, I'll wrap it up then. So if you're just tuning in, maybe you've missed the last 35 minutes of what it is we've been talking about. We've been talking about the Mindfulness Adventure Retreat that we are putting on. That's going to be 16 to 19 September in Durango, Colorado, at the Colorado Trails Ranch. And it's going to be led by the three of us here. So Doctor of Physical Therapy, Marine Corps veteran, and movement expert, Dr. Teresa Larson, my Men Talking Mindfulness podcast co-host and one of New York City's top yoga teachers and mindfulness guru, Will Schneider, and myself, Navy veteran, Men Talking Mindfulness co-host and mindfulness and meditation teacher. And the regular cost is $24.99. If you sign up between now and August 10th, that's $200 off. And if your organization signs up 4 or more folks, it's $500 off per person. The website to sign up is right there at the bottom, mentalkingmindfulness.com/retreat. And we would absolutely love to see you next month here in Colorado. Until next time, I guess, until the retreat. We'll see you
soon.
Take care. Peace.
Thank you, everybody. Peace,
Bye.
peace.